Mr. N Prakash, a highly accomplished professional, holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the esteemed National Institute of Engineering, Mysore in 1969. He further pursued the postgraduate degree in industrial structures from NIT Surathkal, Karnataka in 1972. He is an expert in project management. Throughout his career, Mr. Prakash has been associated with prestigious projects that have showcased his expertise. Notable examples include the Oberoi Hotel on Zakir Hussain Marg in New Delhi, Winterson Manor Hotel and the West End Hotel, Bangalore, Kashmir Conference Complex in Srinagar, and the New City Commercial Complex in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He is a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, UK, and founded the School of Construction Management Excellence in 2011. He is also the founder chairman of the Nemedi.in and is a columnist for the CP Construction magazine. I warmly invite you, sir, to share your insights on lean construction, project management, and significance of effective collaboration in construction industry.
Okay, I'm supposed to stop on lean construction. How many of you know what lean is? The definition of lean in terms of the dictionary, one is to lean, that's a verb. When you lean against something, it's called a verb. It's leaning. The other lean is what we call a lean person, or lean fat, or lean meat, so on and so forth, is an adjective to something which is lean, where there's nothing extra. You actually have what you want. That's called the lean. And I don't know that I can go further unless he gets my slides on. I think all of you, I'm very grateful to Jimmy Thomas. I learned a lot from you today, and also the earlier speakers. I mean, my knowledge of geotechnical engineering is enhanced manifold listening to you, and about Mr. Iyer talking about sustainability in the bridges, which is completely out of my domain. I don't know anything about infrastructures. We don't even touch with a barge pole because I don't have any. Next comes the quality assurance and quality control. Quite a lot of it is, of course, known, but very well explained. But coming to my topic of lean, one of the things that I want to talk about, lean means, there are a lot of associations now. As a matter of fact, the Lean Concrete Institute, which is in USA, is also an institute in India. It's called the Institute of Lean Construction Excellence, in which one of the top bodies, construction industries like the Shapujis and the Godrej, etc., they're all in the board. It's a very, very active body which has started very late. As a matter of fact, lean construction concept itself came from the manufacturing industry called lean production. Yeah, exactly, you got it. Yeah, that's the topic. Can you hear me? I'm in the angle. Lean construction and construction project management, we are putting it out. Can I have the hand mic? The overview is this. I'm going fast because, I'm sure all of you are hungry. Mine is not so theoretical as the others are. So I just want to go, this is the overview of the topics. And as I mentioned to you, dictionary meaning of lean is one is verb, and that is the slope or the tilt or in one direction. The other is the adjective, which is thin and healthy. Who doesn't want? Who doesn't want to be thin and healthy? Each one of us want to be thin and healthy. So as an individual, you just want to exercise. As a matter of fact, that's my son who is in the gym. And then, of course, this is a policeman. And nobody wants to be seen like that. That's exactly what we are talking about is in the projects also, that we want to be really lean and thin. So one of the cartoons is quite obvious. We do a lot of meetings. We are fond of meetings. I think it's because of the good coffee that we get. In my office, I say we get filtered coffee. So most of them come to my office because of meetings. But this is the absolutely waste of time. So lean, we are talking about how do we reduce waste in all directions. So the origin of lean, as a matter of fact, is lean project delivery system came Taichi Ono. It's a very interesting name. Fortunately it is a Japanese name. Otherwise it says Ono. His name is Ono. It has nothing to do with English. Anyway, it was a manufacturing approach of Toyota car where he said, we can't have any wastage. I mean, if you find anything defective, we should stop it. That's where it came from. And then we realized that in factories can adopt lean production management, why can't construction go lean? So that's how the concept of lean came in and saying that, well, let's just start looking at the lean also. So it is nothing but eliminating waste in all phases of project. Those of you who are in the construction field know that a project goes through a project life cycle from the concept to the completion stage. So every aspect of it you can do it. So this is what defined by the Lean Construction Institute. Lean construction is a project delivery system that uses lean methods of maximizing stakeholder value while reducing waste by emphasizing collaboration between team and the project. The goal of lean construction is to increase productivity, profits, and innovative in the industry. I don't think I'm talking anything different from all of us have been doing. I'm not sure Mr. Iyer started saying that if you have to talk and find out from the users as to what they want. That is done because you want to make sure that you don't end up something that is not done. I don't know how many of you know, in UK they built up a slum, not a slum, the economic housing, which was not occupied at all because the users didn't want to go in there. So you didn't consult the users as to what they want. This is one of the things that what are the goals, tenets, or principles of lean construction? So it's the respect for people. It's a very interesting one. When you say respect for people, what they mean is, it is not just the stakeholders, what we consider as the stakeholders, not involving the end user. End user is one of the things that has been forgotten in most of the cases. The end user is one. I'll just give you a few examples where end users, there are a lot of papers published in it. Those people who are interested in lean construction should read papers published on that. So we just focus on value, reduce, eliminate waste, continuous improvement, flow of work, enhance quality, improve collaboration, and foster change. And everybody wants it, nobody. So how can we achieve lean in construction project management process? It involves a large number of projects. One thing that all of us accept is, initially it involves a large number of participants, architects, design engineers, PMCs, service engineers. Many decision-making process extends over a long period of time. It's endless. Every time an architect starts with it and you have a client who keeps on talking about, here comes my friend, Prakash. Satyavani is Satya Prakash has come. How did you know I have started talking? Hard to evaluate and control against project schedule. Feedback from the users and their requirement is often delayed. This is one of the things that delays. And what we are talking about is lean in terms of not wasting time too. Time is the focus on this, and also that's why we are coming from the production, that you don't waste time between one activity to another activity. Is the voice of the customer. This is something that I want to stress on. Voice of the customer is something that is lost. That's where we have to start with. So even at the design phase, we have designed some very small nursery schools where when we interacted with the teachers, and then of course a lot of it has been to be done, and there is also incidentally again papers published on this to say how the involvement of the customer is required. So for example, in the case of a hospital, the doctors don't know as to what they want, and it is for us to have a checklist as to say. We have done a couple of brownfield projects. I will show you some of the slides where at the end of the day they come and tell you that we have an MIR which is so many tons, I want to put it on the first floor. So how do we, so unless we talk to them, in some cases we have not been able to even take it inside the building because of the structural configuration that is there. So industrial buildings, the impact load, particularly if it is a forged building, whether the whole foundation has to be isolated, Banks. We have had banks where they'll again come and say, I got lockers which we have to put it on the top. IT buildings, hotels. I'll show you some of the sketches, photographs. I'm more interested, I believe in showing photographs. See, for example, this is the example I want to show you where this corner protection is, sharp edge protection is so important when you do a nursery or a school. They don't want anything that is within the school which has got sharp edges. They want to make sure. So one of the things that when we design this furniture and have all these things, you have furniture that has got sharp corners which really danger them. Then we did a school in Bangalore where the teacher said she doesn't want this topper. She said that when you open the door and put this topper, it is very dangerous because the young ones, they just rush into the classroom. They don't walk, they're all full of energy. So when they rush in, they trip and fall down. Then I suggested, why don't we have this as a stopper? She said, that's also dangerous because when you close the door, the children are again moving about and they will again kick that and falling down. So they wanted a stopper that could be put at a higher level. So we had to think of something that you could put it at a level where you can really use it, because you have to keep the door open when the class starts. It cannot be closed because they come running. This is a chair. I am giving you this example because I have the first-hand experience of my son. When he was falling on a chair, we didn't have a cap like this. So his whole lip is punctured. Even today he has got that. It is punctured because this particular thing didn't have a stopper at the top. So some of these people, when they talk about this is the voice of the customer I am talking about, how important that is there. Why I am telling you this in lean construction is, if you have already done this, you are not going to waste your time later on discussing about this. You already have it in place. So this is where the voice of the customer, whether it's a bridge, whether it's a building that he is talking about, what are the things that are going to, because we have a role to play and then tell them, this is very, very important for us to consider. See, this is an MRI. There's a fly which is very friendly to me. So see, this is a building which we converted a mall into a hospital, where you can see that there is an escalator. This was removed and we had to span all these things. And then one day they suddenly said that we want an MIR at a particular level. When we wanted to take this is a 6 ton. It's just about 2 square meters. This weighs 6 tons. So there is an existing building. So if you had not talked to those doctors and find out what you want, you will not be able to know what you have to give it at the end of the day. Again, you will lose time strengthening that. If you were to do it earlier itself, you'll do. There are many examples that I'm just giving you 1 or 2 because of paucity of time. See, this is the complexity of a R&D lab. Look at the amount of services that go in. And if you are not, today of course you talk about BIM and so on and so forth. Even if you are to BIM, you have to talk to him to find out what are all the things that are coming here. What should be the roof height? You can't have a false ceiling. How do we make these services? See, this is the intensity of services that go on. So it is absolutely necessary for you to talk to the customer. That's why I'm repeating on the voice of the customer. The other thing is the tender process. Of course, all of you know, I'm talking to those people who are not. One is the preparation of bill of quantities. This is the normal process. But one important thing is the pre-bid meeting. We believe in these pre-bid meetings, but pre-bid meeting solves a lot of problems where you may not have to face during the construction. Pre-bid meetings, people say that you should not put all the contractors together, they will gang up, it's all bunkum. There is nothing like that. They can't, you should just meet them and tell them as to what you want, and they come out with a lot of questions that are there, and then if you solve them, then you don't end up with change management, non-tender items, I thought so, you thought, because you cannot write everything that is there in a book. So his assumptions may not be what you want. So this is one of the things that helps us. What time is the lunch? I'm also hungry. So the construction phase, see, this is one of the projects where the hotels, we have the shafts samples done. we had to get the sample. You can see here, there is a small sticker which you can't read. This was just to say how the sequencing has to be done, because if you were not to have this shaft sample done, you will have this fellow coming first you would probably end up having the front pipes done earlier, and then the pipe at the back, the contractor is not taken on time and he doesn't place that particular duct. So the sequencing of work that needs to be done has to be discussed. This is where I said that the importance of collaboration. What we do in such projects is we involve the project operations, hotel operations guy, the plumber, the electricians. We get them because they want to maintain it at the later stage. If you give him a shaft where he can't even put a spanner, he says, I don't want to come to this hotel, or I can't maintain this. So one other thing that we do is I have to involve the lowest level of the people to say, is this all fine? That was the purpose of making this and showing to them, this is what we do, and the sequence is also written. So it was left there for nearly a week for everybody to look at it and comment. This is another shaft, intensity of the services. See, this is a project, it is a textile mill project. I'll show you the mill itself next. This has got underground ducts. These are all ventilation ducts. If these ventilation ducts are nearly 1.5 meters, so should it be precast, should it be cast in situ, how do we do it, where do we do it? This is such an important thing to get involved with the production guys. The productions guys have to become part of the design process that we have. You have to invite them. Normally what happens, there is some facilities guy who is there in the factory. He comes and sits, he doesn't know anything about the production. This is the completed project. This is nearly 1.5 kilometers long. See, these are the ducts. And there are also ducts there. So if this is the end of the day, is what you're going to get if you're not going to discuss with them, and then you're into deep trouble. Another thing is, this is a project still in progress. This probably would end up as one of the biggest projects in terms of a hyperbolic paraboloid shell. This is a 75 meters by 75 meter hyperbolic paraboloid shell, and then it also has a dome here, which is still, the shuttering is in progress, the dome is also in progress. Now, why I'm showing you this is, none of us have experienced as to how do we do the concreting for this. This need a double shutter because of the slope, very steep slopes. Then what should be the aggregate size? Will the aggregate really flow? I will show you also. So this is the dome from the other side, and that's this is again another formwork in progress. See, we really got samples done. You can see here there is a double shuttering. There is a shutter and there is a double shutter. We are trying to see what is the rate of flow of concrete for 1 meter depth. If you don't know that, you are unable to plan your date of concreting, how much time it will take to complete the concreting, what will be a de-shuttering time. Because we don't know even how long it will take for it to flow. So we had to literally go through earlier it had a 6 millimeter mesh. You will not believe, the whole slab thickness is only 50 millimeters. The mesh was 6 millimeters, it was changed to 5 millimeter to accommodate. Here again, why I am saying this, why I am talking to you about lean construction and why am I talking about this is, we got the foreman and the concrete and the people who are involved in doing the shuttering involved in it. To say what happens, can we really do this? Is it absolute theory? Can we really have that done on the site? So this is how a lot of experiment took place. We are still doing mock-ups for various shuttering, various angles. Not one angle, as I told you, it's an hyperbolic paraboloid. This is where you can see that it is de-shuttered and they are still going on. These are the 7 ways. This is theory. Inventory waste, waiting, defects, overproduction, motion, transportation, and overprocessing. So these are 7. I've written in bracket 8 because 7 is what the Lean Concrete Institutes talk about. But the 8th one is the skills, which is normally not mentioned. Muda in Japanese means wasteful activities. That's why it's called 7 mudas. So transportation, there is wastage in unnecessary movement, you have seen. One of the things that you do is to avoid unnecessary movement, and also as a part of sustainability that we are talking about is have the RMC plant within the site if possible. So the movement is reduced in terms of that, because even though it says there is a green thing, particular radius you can have it, but then we have seen ways where we can put it in the site. Storing just in case, because I think we were talking about, I think earlier they were talking about getting certain things, thinking that there will be a strike, something will happen, we may not be able to get it. But then that is another way of wastage of storage space, and all of us know about just-in-time storage that Japanese talk about, so that they don't even store anything in their factory, they get it everything from outside. Motion. And we had a case where in one of the earlier days, I'm pretty old, so I can talk about my earlier days. So nearly 30 years back, there was a case where the masons used to go up the floor to the 10th floor and wait till about 11:30 for the blocks to come up. Because those days were not much of cranes, etc. We only had those, what you call as the, lifts, which were done by motorized lifts that used to go. So the contractor was worried that the masons, then we had to tell him, look at mason's time of 3 hours is more important than engaging a labor previous day to take these blocks and keep it in place so that he starts the work immediately. That calculation had to be done. So that's one case of time and motion study, is to make sure that what you do. So these are all various things that are there. Overproduction, waste, overprocessing, defects. Defects, I think we already talked, but there is also a very interesting thing, cost of poor quality. Cost of poor quality, as a matter of fact, I published a paper in LinkedIn also. What is cost of poor quality? You are expected to do a quality work. There's absolutely, so there is a known, there is an unknown. The cost of poor quality could be your reputation. It is not known. How do you evaluate that? Cost of poor quality is a waste of time. How do you evaluate that? So cost of poor quality also has to be evaluated in terms of things that are nebulous. Use of improper skills. Because mason has not come, you ask his assistant to do it. It's like asking the compounder to give you medicine because the doctor is not there. So that's something that's not to be done. So there is a paper published by a professor from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. So he has calculated what is the cost of waste in materials. It's a very interesting paper. I've taken it from there. He has elaborated. It's quite an interesting one. See, he has calculated in one of the tables that he has said wastage in percentage. This is the wastage in percentage, the project value to the scrap value. If you total it up, you can see in some of them it is even 10.86, 10.42 of the project cost, the wastage. So you can imagine that it's going unmeasured. So this is something that needs to be measured. Few techniques, there are a lot of techniques, like loss planner system. And there is also lean project delivery system, which is developed by the Lean Concrete Institute. There's another thing called line of balance. I don't know how many of you use it. This line of balance is used where you have got sequential activities. For example, if you are doing 20 villas, so continuously there are activities. Also when you are doing block work, conduit, masonry, you have got sequentially, so there is what's called a line of balance. That's another method that is also used. I'm just telling you about it so that people can read about it. So what is wrong with the conventional construction project management? The only thing that's wrong is that we don't go into the nitty-gritties to make sure we don't get involved with the lowest of the fellows to see whether all the activities that we are doing is getting ready to do the next step. We have got people wasting time saying that I have not got this, I have not received this, so on and so forth. So that's one thing that's majorly done. So controls output measures, misses management of workflow creation and delivery of output value, schedules portray series of activities, ignores flow of work between them. So there is one to another, you cannot, let's say the masonry is done, we wait for that conduit electrical fellow to come and do, because you can't do the plastering unless he does. So that sequential activity has to be seen seriously. This is a paper, that's the foundation of lean construction. This is a very interesting paper to read, to say why construction management today is not what it's supposed to do. So these are all the institutes. Lean Construction Institute, USA, Institute of Lean Construction Excellence, established in India. And matter of fact, I'm a member of that also. International group, it's not an institute, International Group of Lean Construction, IGLC, it's just a group of people who discuss about lean construction. They have conferences all over the world, in different parts of the world. Finally, what intrigues me is, we are a nation which doesn't waste at all. And we are talking about waste, and we should save. Culturally, we have never been trained to waste anything. No wasting, eliminating waste is a part of our. See, we use even cow dung. See, this is a project done using cow dung and mud as a plaster and flooring. And it is very cool, it is there in Rajasthan. See, that's what I said. You see, we use cow dung as fuel. And people are telling us don't waste. We don't waste anything. And where are we? As culturally, we have forgotten everything. If we can use cow dung was used, I remember my days where the cow dung was used to smear on the ground because it is an anti-termite and whatever it is. It never used to get that. We have forgotten our olden days. For example, our clothing. See, we have all of us know about the mundus or the dhotis and the panches, whatever you call the veshti in Tamil Nadu. This is one cloth that can be worn by generations. I can wear it, my son can wear it, if I am not wearing it, he can wear it, and it is something where we are not wasting. So this is something, see, also it is worn in so many different styles. This is a very nice photo that, and then you have got Panditji wearing sharwani, and you have this famous guys, you know, all of us wear. I did it because I knew N Prakash was coming, NTR. So, see, I don't know why we have forgotten this. We have been always doing this, and we are now told don't waste. And I think culturally we are lost. And we have got Devarajaras and MGR. That's another nice photo. Look at the saris. 8 yards of sari is all worn all over the country in different styles. And we are saying no. And I still had my mother's wedding reception sari in my house. My wife has her mother's wedding reception sari, and it is used. So where is the question of waste? Why have we lost this? Where have we lost this? Why have we not brought it into that? We are all talking about theory, lean construction, that thing, this thing. I think we have lost what we had, and we should really do it. And I look at these girls wearing saris, beautiful they are. And the banana plant. Except the root, everything is eaten. Or not eaten, sorry, used. So, where is the waste? We use timber. Jackfruit trees, timber is used here. If you go further north, other trees are used. If you want to come to whatever it is in Mysore, etc., teak was there, they use it. So I think we have made a bit of a hype on what is lean. Lean is there, and I think we are not using it properly. We should go back to our roots and see how we use it. Ultimately, this should not happen.